Ladies and gentlemen, hustlers of all ages, welcome to the Six Figure Playbook with your host, Alan, the Ace Man Dickey.
And now, the man, the myth, the legend, touch him, he's real, Alan, the Ace Man Dickey. You know what's cool about having your own podcast is there's no rules, and that is an intro that I like the sound of. You know what's funny? I used to walk around in my automotive sales career, especially early on, like gosh, I'm going back to like 2002, 2003. And we used to do that, man. Me and another guy I worked with, he was in new cars, I was in used. We would walk around and we would always be like, yeah, man, the myth, the legend, touch me, I'm real. And it was a lot of, I guess, what you could call that cocky swagger. But you want to know something? That cocky swagger is necessary. I mean, in the infancy of your careers, whatever it is you're selling, whatever business you're building, you're going to have those moments where the only person who really sees the vision, you know, we talked about that, right? You know, sight is the greatest enemy of vision. The only person who sees the vision is you. Yeah, the only person who sees the vision is you. So one of the important things I always want to express to people is it's not a bad thing to have a good, strong self-talk about yourself, man. There's days where you get in, you know, you hop out of the shower, throw some water on your face, you look into the mirror, and you're the only person who's believing what you're believing. You're the only person who's drinking the Kool-Aid of possibility that has you willing to go for failure and take action on all the other things and in all the other areas we've been discussing in past episodes. So, without further ado, I want to talk about something different this week. You know what I want to talk about, everybody? The Ace Man wants to... Did I just refer to myself in the third person? I might have. What I want to talk about is comfort. I want to talk about being comfortable. Now, when I say I want to talk about being comfortable, I want to be specifically talking about the dangers of being comfortable, okay? You know, I heard many times, and I'll share it with you again, comfort is next to apathy, and apathy is next to death, okay? Comfort is something you want to be deathly afraid of, and yet, the way we're brought up in our lives, I mean, from birth, is we're brought up to seek comfort. You're somebody who's a budding entrepreneur, or you're somebody who's saying, you know what, I know there's more out there. I know there's a better opportunity. If I'm accountable to my results, maybe you're entering the automotive sales industry. Maybe you're entering any type of sales industry. And you're entering it because you like the idea that you can be, you know, rewarded based on your efforts. The amount of energy you pour into your job, to your career, to your business will directly reflect how you are reciprocated, you know, by revenue, by making money. And so what ends up happening is a lot of people get fear-mongered, if you will, into becoming comfortable. You know, a lot of people, I call them wolves in sheep's clothing. They love to sing the comfort song, and these people are very dangerous. So because I'm talking about comfort, I want to illustrate this, and I'm going to use an example in my own personal experiences of just how even your closest friends, your dearest loved ones, are these, you know, wolves in sheep's clothing I talk about, singing this song of comfort. So for this story, I want to go back a little bit, and I'm going to talk about when the decision was made that I was going to create AlanDickey.com. I was going to create my business. Naturally, like everybody, it sounded like an awesome thing. You know, all I really focused on was all the cool benefits of doing it. You know, I'm going to be my own boss. But there was a moment where I literally had just finished signing the papers on the biggest mortgage I've ever had in my life, and we're going back into 2008, late 2008 into 2009. And one of the things I'll never forget is around that time where I was starting to share that news, because a lot of my friends, family members, you know, they knew I wasn't in dealerships at the time, and they knew something was going on. They figured I was, you know, figuring out my next step. But no, I knew what I was doing. I was building the machine. But when I would come in touch with them, you know, a lot of times they would say to me, so what are you doing now, Al? And I would say to them, I'd be like, I'm building my empire, AlanDickey.com. A lot of them would be like, well, what's that, man? To which I would have to respond, if you don't know, you better ask somebody, you better find out. And this was that self-talk showing up that I, you know, had mentioned early on in the show. But I always had to have that confidence, and I kept that clear vision of what it is I wanted and the road that I was going to need to travel to get there. And a lot of you, again, you're in dealerships and you want to create these six-figure performances and these incomes for yourself and for your families. And a lot of it is, you being able to see that version of you, accomplishing all of those things that are going to deliver that reality to yourself and your families. So for me, I saw that stuff. But as I started to mention what these plans, were and started to share with people about this machine that I was building, that is where comfort showed up. I'll never forget when I did start to share with people that I was going to be pursuing this dream of mine to build this business because I, had this market I knew I was destined to serve. They started to say to me, well, man, you just signed the papers to the biggest mortgage you ever had, bro. Son, okay, your parents, some of the closest to you who love you the most, instruct you this way. I remember both my parents, we'll use them as a real hit close to home example. They said to me, son, you've got this mortgage. And I forgot to mention, I also had a wife who was pregnant with my first child. So here I am, biggest mortgage I ever had in my life. Wife is pregnant with my firstborn child, and I'm starting a business. Well, this is where comfort was showing up, and my parents would say things to me like, son, listen, man, you've got a lot of responsibilities coming down the pipe. Bring this business of yours along on the side. And I'll never forget when they said that to me, I said, guys, anybody who has a plan B is not committed to plan A. Away from me, Satan. But that was the attitude I had, and it was a necessary attitude to have. I can't stress it enough. In this particular example, we're talking about my mom and my dad. I love those two, man. I'm a byproduct of how they raised me, and trust when I tell you the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But apparently this apple that was me fell far enough to understand that this comfort stuff was dangerous. What I want to encourage all of you to think of as well, because some of you might have friends or family members that are advising you in the exact same capacity, is you really want to identify the fact that your friends and your family members, it's not necessarily that they hate on you or they're hating towards this wonderful idea. They are providing you their advice and their instruction based on love. And that's a beautiful thing, man. Listen, my mom, my dad, they love me like crazy, and I'm sure all of your friends and family love you the same. So when they're advising you to, no, bring it along on the side and stay comfortable, it's not that they're trying to be negative towards you. They are just advising you from love. But here's the thing. How is love going to be enough of a pillar to lean against as far as taking advice is concerned in situations like this? Like, think about this. If somebody loves me and is warning me, well, that's cool, but I need to dig deeper. I need to investigate. While I appreciate they love me, what gives them the validity to advise me, right? If my parents or close friends and family members, if they were budding entrepreneurs and successful entrepreneurs and they're saying, hey man, bring it along on the side, I'm probably going to have a lot more of an ear for that. But when I look at the consistency of my friends and family members who made these suggestions to me, you know what I saw? I saw a lot of people who didn't view life the same way I did. I saw a lot of people who were employed by wonderful companies and enjoyed the comfort and the security that those companies provided. Now listen, I have a lot of very successful friends, family members that have really done a job in their lifetimes. I mean, really successful people, and they've done so working for, companies in these types of dynamics, if you will. And good for them, right? Good for them. As far as I'm concerned, I'm a different individual, and success to me, I like the idea of doing what I want, when I want, how I want, with whom I want, whenever I want. I like flexibility. This is not, I should say, supposed to be dressed up as a guise for being lazy, okay? When I love doing what I want, when I want, how I want, with whom I want, where I want, this actually means I work a lot harder than those people who have the structures of the 9 to 5 and the 4 weeks vacation and whatever. I do have to work harder, but you know what? I like the idea that I can work harder and do it on my time and on my terms. But the whole thing is, What does this comfort look like? Well, this comfort looks like, hey man, you've got a lot of responsibilities. It would be easier if you just had a salary job. Benefits are good. Hey, if you joined the police force, there's a lot of security there, man. Pensions too. They dress this comfort thing up as something sexy, something that is highly desirable. But again, a lot of these situations lead to, what we've described as in the past as jobs. And jobs standing, of course, for just over broke. So when you're considering taking extraordinary actions, okay, like starting a business, or extraordinary actions like you have had enough with your $50,000 or $60,000 a year performances in the automotive sales industry, for example, and you're committed to breaking through that six-figure plateau and far beyond, then you need to understand a lot of unique actions are going to be required, and there's a lot of people who are going to distract you towards taking those actions. There's a lot of people out there who are going to recommend not taking those actions because a lot of those actions could result in failure. And we have been brought up as a society. I mean, it's an epidemic as far as I'm concerned, but we've been brought up to avoid challenging situations, been brought up to embrace mediocrity, but I like to call it comfort. They're one and the same to me. In school, we were brought up, make sure you get good grades so you can get a good job, and then you can pay your bills and have a mortgage forever, and then when you pay it off, do crossword puzzles in the Toronto Sun until you die. But you understand what I'm saying. So I want to encourage you of a couple of things, all right? If you're a sales representative who's ready to go above and beyond, right? If you're the one who's ready to take extraordinary actions to guarantee your results, you need to be prepared for people who are going to suggest against it. I'll give you an example. I've got a program available. It's ACE Lead Generation Solutions. This is a program that I put together for the automotive sales industry, and mind you, we have said it in the past before, sales is sales is sales. The only thing that changes is X, and X equals the product. So, I mean, these techniques are relatable to any sales industry. But for my automotive sales industry friends and family, I have ACE Lead Generation Solutions. And in this program, I show automotive sales representatives exactly how there are 7 different revenue streams available to you when you are an automotive sales consultant, okay? If you're the guy that works at the GM store, you're not just making money by selling GM products to the people who show up at the dealership, okay? You need to broaden your horizons. There are opportunities, and I've got 7 of them, that will allow you to create revenue streams. And that's the key if you want to make substantial incomes. And when you learn how to do them and you start to take action on doing them, that's where the comfort's going to show up. That's where you're going to see a lot of friends, family members, co-workers on the dealership floor, if you will. And they're going to show up and they're going to start saying, what are you doing, man? And you're going to be like, well, look, I just connected with the Ace Man and he's got like these 7 brilliant ideas on how I can generate 7 revenue streams in my career. So I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm doing this because I'm taking action on one of them right now. You're going to hear things like, well, that'll never work. Let me tell you something. There's not one person out in the marketplace who's going to say that won't work that's making a 6-figure income. Because we don't talk like that. None of us talk like that. We all understand that we can do anything. Again, I can't say it enough, folks. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you are right. So with that being said, with me in my business, I'll never forget, it was very challenging. It was very difficult. When you're generating leads as an automotive sales representative, utilizing those 7 techniques, that I lay out in that ACE lead generation course, when you're doing these things, you need to understand that when you start to take action on them, nothing works right away, okay? You don't just say, hey, amazing, I took a step today, I should be rich. No. But what you do is you start to take the disciplined set of actions that are necessary to achieve the desired results. And you're building something here, okay? When I opened my business, when I started my business, I started to take all kinds of actions. Man, I was going full blast in a million different directions, accepting failure, embracing failure, because that's how I was going to find out not only the best methods, but I was also going to be able to tweak the best methods and make them even better. And what you need to understand is those of us who do experience these levels of success, we fully understand this, man. We do not need to have it explained to us. And so that is why I want to share with all of you today that if you're making a decision to step out of mediocrity, to become exceptional in your careers, in your lives, in your businesses, you need to embrace fear. Fear is the same thing that puts you into that jail called comfort. Fear of failure, fear of the technique not working, fear of the business failing, fear of losing money, fear of losing everything you have in some cases. Because that exact fear is the fuel that will deliver you all of the results that you're looking for. And it will deliver that fuel that is necessary to continue to show up and take action on all of your plans. Listen, when I started my business, I laid out a game plan. I had the groundwork. I was like, this is how I can do it. This is how I can get into the marketplace. This is how I can, generate that revenue I need immediately, as well as generate that revenue I have a vision of for years to come. And it wasn't all done in a day. But if you want to be a powerful six-figure performer in any capacity, $100,000 a year, $999,000 a year and beyond, if you want to do this, you need to get over fear, man. And you need to identify those in your life who are going to be trying to use fear to govern you and to channel you into jail, into the comfort zone. I can't say it enough. This is why it's so important for you to tune into podcasts like this, to have this type of information constantly in your head, because it's us. It's us, the current six-figure and beyond performers who get it, who can tell you firsthand, I understand how scary something can look. I understand how silly you might think it is to take, this or that type of action. But we're telling you, this is how you get it done. This is how it happens, man. So listen, I want you to remember right now, I said it in an earlier episode, it's 3% of the country makes over a six-figure income, man. That means 97% of the people in your environment don't get it. That 97% are the exact group of people who are going to be trying to get you to join them in the comfort jail. Don't join them, man. Don't join them. It's not a place you want to be. Learn how to live comfortably within uncomfort, and your lives will change, people. I can't stress it enough. So listen, if today's the day, if you are that automotive sales representative and you're ready to break out, I'm telling you right here live on this podcast, www.alandickey.com/lead gen. Okay, grab that program, and I'm guaranteeing you that program will show you how I made $100,000 a year when I was not even working for a dealership. Trust me, the hustle is real over here with the Ace Man. We're only getting started. But even you who are looking to do that, or those of you who are looking to start your own businesses and whatever it is you do, just understand you are a minority accepting uncomfort. The mass majority of the people on planet Earth want you to accept comfort. They want you in the comfort jail. So I'm going to encourage you again. Anybody who's talking about being comfortable and collecting pensions and the rest of that, run from them. That is not you. That's not why you're listening to this show, because we are not like that. We create our lives, we create our incomes, and we do it all through governing our fears and using that fear as a fuel to create success, to take the disciplined actions on a consistent basis that will guarantee our results and keep us on the path of where it is we want to go. Comfort's a jail, people, and those people that warn you about remaining comfortable, they're not your friends. They are an adversary. Listen, I want to thank all of you for joining me again this week, for subscribing and downloading to our podcast. You can find it on iTunes and all regular channels. Make sure you're tuned in every week as we continue to show up to get you to where you're headed. And that again is to a massive six-figure performance in your lives and in your careers. Stay away from being comfortable, people. And always remember, anybody who has a plan B is not committed to plan A. Make it a great day, everybody. Alan Dickey, the Ace Man, over and out. We'll see you next week.